It was a sunny Saturday morning, and our family BBQ restaurant was buzzing with customers, the smell of smoked ribs filling the air. We'd just opened the doors when I noticed a familiar figure, striding toward the entrance. Karen from the HOA. She wasn't here to taste our food. She was on a mission. Clipboard in hand, eyes narrowed, radiating authority like a storm cloud hovering over a picnic. I had heard stories about Karen, HOA rule enforcer, neighborhood terror, the kind of person who made a hobby out of ruining other people's fun. But I never imagined she'd target my family business. As she approached, her voice cut through the sizzle of the grill. "You're operating illegally. I'm calling the police," she announced. The words hit me like a brick. Customers froze, glancing nervously between us. My father, wiping sweat from his brow, tried to reason with her, but Karen was relentless. She cited obscure HOA rules about noise, traffic, and even the color of our awning, rules that didn't apply to a commercial property. I felt my stomach twist, a mix of anger and disbelief. This was our dream, the place we had built from scratch. A business that supported our family and gave back to the community. And here was Karen, trying to crush it with bureaucratic intimidation. But instead of panicking, I made a choice. I wasn't going to let her bully us into submission. I calmly told her, "If you want the police involved, call them. But you're mistaken. This is our property, legally zoned for business. We will defend it." Moments later, a patrol car arrived, and Karen's smirk widened. "I told you," she said, her voice dripping with triumph. But the officers quickly realized she had misinterpreted the HOA rules. No violations existed. Still, the intimidation was real. And the message clear. Karen wanted to scare us into shutting down voluntarily. That day, I realized that fighting Karen wouldn't just be about defending our business. It would be about standing up to anyone who thought they could use power to intimidate ordinary people. I knew then that this was just the beginning of a battle that would test our patience, our resolve, and our faith in justice. And I was ready. After that chaotic Saturday, things only got worse. Karen wasn't content with just a warning or a misinformed police visit. She began sending emails, letters, and notices claiming that our business violated HOA rules. Each message was filled with vague threats, fines, complaints, and potential legal action. The tone was personal, aggressive, and unmistakably meant to intimidate. It wasn't just about the rules anymore. It was about power, control, and proving she could make us back down. At first, I tried to reason with her. I replied to her emails politely, detailing zoning laws, licenses, and permits. I attached copies of every document proving our compliance. But Karen ignored logic. Her responses became increasingly hostile, accusing us of disrespecting the community and even threatening to escalate matters if we didn't comply. It was obvious. Karen wanted a reaction. She wanted fear, confusion, and chaos. The pressure mounted. Employees began asking if we were going to be shut down. And loyal customers started expressing concern over potential legal trouble. My family felt the weight of her attacks. Sleepless nights, constant stress, and the fear that all our hard work could vanish overnight. That's when I realized this was bigger than just a disagreement with a neighbor. Karen was using the HOA as a weapon, and we needed a strategy to protect ourselves. I consulted a lawyer specializing in property and business law. After reviewing all the correspondence, permits, and HOA regulations, the lawyer confirmed what I had hoped. Karen had no legal grounds. Her actions weren't just misguided, they were harassment. That realization fueled a sense of determination. If she thought she could bully us into submission, she had another thing coming. It was time to take a stand, not just for our business, but for our family and our right to exist without fear of a vindictive HOA member. I documented every interaction, every email, every threat. I even started recording phone calls legally and carefully, so there would be undeniable proof of Karen's harassment. With a clear record and professional legal guidance, we were ready to fight. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice. And once Karen realized we weren't afraid, the real battle would begin, a battle that would expose her overreach and protect not just us, but others who might face similar intimidation. The stage was set. We were about to confront HOA Karen, and this time, we weren't holding back. With all our evidence meticulously organized, we made the decision to take action. Karen's relentless harassment could no longer go unchecked. My lawyer advised that a formal lawsuit would not only protect our business, but also send a message. HOA power trips have consequences. The next morning, I filed a complaint, citing harassment, intimidation, and abuse of HOA authority. It was a risky move, but necessary. The news spread quickly. Friends, neighbors, and even some of our regular customers rallied behind us. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about a local BBQ restaurant. It became a battle for fairness, transparency, and the right to operate without fear. Karen, who had thrived on intimidation, now found herself under scrutiny. The tables had turned. Every email she sent, every threat she made, became potential evidence in court. Her power was slipping, and it was exhilarating to see. Court preparations were intense. We spent hours reviewing HOA regulations, zoning laws, and legal precedents. I learned the ins and outs of business law, HOA limitations, and what constituted harassment. Each day brought more clarity and strengthened my resolve. Karen's repeated attempts to intimidate us now worked against her. They painted a clear picture of abuse, not enforcement. I realized that knowledge was power, and we wielded it like a shield. Finally, the day of the hearing arrived. Karen sat across the courtroom, her confident smirk faltering slightly as our evidence was presented. Emails, recordings, and expert testimony left little room for her claims. The judge listened intently as our lawyer outlined the harassment, the false threats, and the emotional toll on our family. Each point chipped away at Karen's credibility, revealing the pattern of overreach and personal vendetta she had been hiding behind. HOA rules. When the judge ruled in our favor, the courtroom erupted with quiet relief and satisfaction. Karen had underestimated us, and her attempts to shut down our restaurant had spectacularly backfired. This wasn't just a legal victory, it was validation that standing up against bullying and abuse of authority could make a difference. I felt an immense sense of relief and pride, knowing we had protected our business and taken a stand for what was right. Our story wasn't just about defeating Karen. It was about resilience, courage, and refusing to be silenced. But even with the legal victory secured, the battle left lasting impressions and important lessons that would guide our future. After the court ruling, life began to return to normal, but nothing felt quite the same. The ordeal with HOA Karen had been exhausting, stressful, and at times terrifying. Yet it also taught me invaluable lessons about resilience, preparation, and standing up for what's right. Our family, BBQ restaurant, wasn't just a business anymore. It was a symbol of perseverance. News of the victory spread through the community. Customers returned, some bringing friends who had heard of our struggle. Local media covered the story, praising our courage in the face of intimidation. Karen's attempts to wield power over others had been exposed publicly, and the HOA could no longer ignore the consequences of unchecked harassment. The balance of power had shifted, proving that accountability matters, even for those who think rules give them absolute control. In the weeks that followed, we focused on rebuilding our energy and morale. Employees who had been uncertain during the conflict felt reassured and motivated, knowing they were part of a workplace that stood up for its rights. My family, too, found relief and pride. We had faced a formidable opponent and emerged victorious, not through aggression, but through patience, strategy, and determination. Every setback had become a lesson, every threat a motivation to act decisively. Beyond the immediate victory, this experience left me more vigilant and aware. I documented every interaction with the HOA moving forward, ensuring no one could attempt similar intimidation in the future. The legal system, while slow at times, had worked in our favor when armed with facts and preparation. I realized that courage wasn't just about confrontation, it was about knowledge, evidence, and unwavering belief in your own rights. Finally, as the restaurant thrived once more, I reflected on the journey. Karen's attempts to close our business had nearly succeeded because we underestimated the personal cost of standing our ground. But in the end, refusing to back down became our greatest strength. We protected our livelihood, sent a clear message to HOA bullies everywhere, and proved that no single Karen could overpower a determined family united by principle and purpose. Our story was now more than a legal victory. It was a testament to resilience, courage, and the enduring power of standing up for what's right. And while Karen might continue to enforce HOA rules, she could never again threaten our freedom, our business, or our spirit. HOA Karen tried to shut us down, but we fought back, and won. If you love wild real-life drama like this, smash that like button, subscribe for more crazy stories, and comment below what you would do if someone tried to bully your business.